Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before starting the video, please go ahead and hit the subscribe button and give this video title. Belle battles EJ for Mark's freedom and Abigail's family finally accept that she's gone. The sprawling town of Willow Creek was abuzz with whispers about Belle Weston, a spirited woman with unrelenting determination. Her name had become synonymous with defiance in the face of injustice. This time, she had taken up a cause that would test every ounce of her courage and will, freeing her childhood friend, Mark, from the clutches of E.J. Waverly, the most feared man in the county. Alongside this battle, the town's collective heart ached with the ongoing grief of Abigail Carter's family, who were slowly learning to accept her tragic disappearance. A town divided. Willow Creek wasn't just any small town. It was a place where loyalty ran deep, secrets festered, and the weight of tradition often clashed with the winds of change. Belle had always been an outlier, with fiery red hair and a sharp tongue to match. Her reputation for standing up for the underdog had earned her admiration and enemies in equal measure. E.J. Waverly, on the other hand, was a name that inspired fear. His family's wealth and power had ruled over Willow Creek for generations. E.J. was ruthless, and his methods for maintaining control were anything but legal. Mark's imprisonment in E.J.'s private labor camp was a testament to this cruelty. Mark, a kind and humble soul, had been accused of stealing from the Waverly estate. The evidence was flimsy, but E.J.'s influence had turned the legal system into a puppet show. When Belle heard of Mark's plight, she knew she couldn't stand idly by. Her love for justice and her deep bond with Mark drove her to action. A plan in motion. "You're insane, Belle," said Clara, her best friend, as they sat in the dimly lit back room of the town's only diner. "Taking on E.J. Waverly is like poking a sleeping bear. A bear with very sharp claws." "Maybe so," Belle retorted, her green eyes blazing with determination. "But I won't let him ruin another life. Mark doesn't deserve this. None of E.J.'s victims do." Belle had spent weeks gathering information, speaking in hushed tones with those who had suffered under E.J.'s reign. She discovered that Mark's crime was part of a larger scheme to silence anyone who dared to stand against the Waverly Empire. She needed a plan, and she needed allies. Clara, though hesitant, agreed to help. They enlisted Samuel, a retired sheriff with a grudge against E.J., and a few other townsfolk brave enough to risk E.J.'s wrath. The confrontation. Under the cover of night, Belle and her allies approached the labor camp where Mark was held. The camp was heavily guarded, but years of E.J.'s arrogance had bred complacency among his men. Using a combination of stealth and diversion, they managed to infiltrate the camp and locate Mark. "Belle," Mark whispered hoarsely as she untied his hands. His face was pale and bruised, but his eyes shone with relief. "You shouldn't have come." "And leave you here?" Belle shot back. "Not a chance." Their escape was almost flawless, but E.J. himself intercepted them at the edge of the camp. He stood tall and imposing, his cold blue eyes locking onto Belle. "You've overstepped, Miss Weston," he said, his voice dripping with malice. "This will cost you dearly." "Not as much as it's going to cost you," Belle replied, her voice unwavering. The standoff escalated into a tense showdown. With the help of Samuel's sharpshooting skills and Clara's quick thinking, they managed to escape. But not without injuries and the realization that the fight was far from over. Abigail's shadow. As Belle's battle with E.J. unfolded, another story lingered in the background. Abigail Carter had vanished a year ago, leaving behind a void in her family and the town. Her disappearance had been a mystery that haunted everyone, but her family had clung to hope despite the mounting evidence that she was gone forever. Abigail's mother, Martha, spent her days tending to Abigail's room as if she might walk through the door any moment. Her father, Henry, had thrown himself into work, avoiding the pain that loomed over their home. It wasn't until a letter arrived. Abigail's final words, hidden in a drawer she had once used, that the family began to accept the truth. In the letter, Abigail wrote of her struggles and her decision to leave Willow Creek to escape the suffocating expectations that had bound her. "I love you all," the letter read, "but I needed to find myself. If you're reading this, it means I didn't make it back. Please forgive me and remember me as I was, not as I've gone." The Carters' grief was profound, but the letter offered a bittersweet closure. Martha finally stopped keeping Abigail's room ready, and Henry allowed himself to cry for the first time in months. The town mourned with them, but they also celebrated Abigail's memory and the courage it took for her to seek her own path. Justice and healing. Belle's victory over EJ didn't come easily. The battle spilled into the courtroom, where she and her allies presented undeniable evidence of EJ's crimes. Public opinion, once subdued by fear, began to turn against him. Mark was exonerated, and the labor camp was dismantled. EJ's power waned, and for the first time, Willow Creek began to see a future free from his tyranny. Abigail's family, meanwhile, found solace in the community that rallied around them. They planted a garden in her memory, a vibrant testament to her life and the hope she had sought. For Belle, the journey had been grueling, but she had proven that courage and determination could triumph over even the darkest forces. As she stood in the town square, watching the people of Willow Creek take their first steps toward healing and justice, she felt a deep sense of satisfaction. To Abigail, she whispered, raising a glass of lemonade in the evening sun, and to everyone who dares to fight for what's right.